I'm gonna film a time lapse. This feels ridiculous. Oh, my book is upside down. I wanted to show you guys my current setup for my bookshelves. So I have this little window here, and this is kind of like my TBR shelf. I haven't read any of these books, and I like having them like separate out like this because now I can, you know, kind of see what books I already own and kind of get through them. And it's been working wonderfully. I already read this book actually, Crying in H Mart, and I just love the way it looks in this corner. And then over here I have my bookshelf, and it's not currently super organized. I might end up getting another bookshelf. So if you step back from here, you can see that I have this little area where next to my couch where I could probably push my couch back a little bit and put in another bookshelf here. And this is my little TV area, which, as you can see, it's not super organized yet, but yeah, I love this little corner of my apartment. It's just so cozy to sit here, and don't mind my dirty plate. But it's just really cozy to sit here and read and look at my bookshelf. Oh yeah, also I got this little crate thing from Urban Outfitters, and I've been putting all of my like comic books in here, and I think it's so cute. I love it. It's currently Saturday. This morning has been kind of a more lazy morning for me. I woke up like at 10, and then I ate a slice of pizza, and then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up and I went for a walk and got some coffee. Now I've just been sort of vibing, watching YouTube videos. I started a new book, The Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and honestly I'm not really liking it. Just a lot of info dumping. Like, I'm literally this much into the book and there's already been like info dumping about the characters, backstory, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I really like the witchy aesthetic, and so I'm gonna stick with it because I already bought the book, so I think I'm just gonna finish it. So I'm really in my reading era again, and it feels really good. I've been reading a lot of books that are sort of out of my wheelhouse than what I normally read. I read Matrix by Lauren Groff recently, and it was a book I never would have read unless my friends recommended it over on my Discord, and it was such an interesting book. It's about this girl who goes to an abbey to become a nun, and on the face of it, I know that sounds boring and I know that sounds terrible, but I think the book recognizes that because the book sort of opens up and Marie, the main character, hates the fact that she's going to the abbey to become a nun, and she hates the abbey. But as the novel develops and Marie comes into a position of power, she just invests so much of herself into making this abbey like the best abbey you ever did see. It's a book that I would say is like a feminist book, but it's not a capital F feminist book trademark. Lets itself be what it is, and it's not like trying to preach at you, which is ironic because it is a book about a nun. I also read this book called The Long Hangover by Sean Walker. I heard about it through an NPR podcast and I just kind of went for it. It was actually fascinating to learn about, you know, the history of the USSR and Russia, especially given the current geopolitical state of the world. I'm currently also in the middle of Villette by Charlotte Bronte. It's interesting. I have very conflicting feelings about Villette. It's not as good as Jane Eyre, but it's also, I think, in a lot of ways more complex than Jane Eyre. So yeah, but later on today I'm gonna go to an art walk. I'm planning on vlogging that, so you'll see how that goes, and I'll see you in the next clip. Clock is going off. of obsessed with this filming spot. It's so cozy and cute. But I'm gonna spend the rest of the night playing video games, reading, and talking to Nat. And yeah, the art walk was really, really cool. It was a lot more spread out than I thought it was gonna be, but honestly, I kind of like that because it sort of made me go to corners of downtown that I had never gone before. Anyways, I am having a lot of fun vlogging, by the way. This is really fun for some reason, and I don't know why, so yeah. It's Sunday morning, and I've spent the morning doing a reading wrap-up with my Discord, which is always really fun to hang out with people and see what they've been reading, what their life updates are. I always really enjoy that every month. I've been reading more of this book. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it, but it is scratching a certain like witchy, cozy aesthetic, cottagecore vibe that I'm always searching for. I think it is very aware of all of those aesthetics like as they exist on the internet, and it's very intentional in evoking those feelings. On one hand, it feels a little too self-aware, but on the other hand, it is fulfilling that vibe and that niche, so I guess I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I feel like that's a weird thing to complain about, like this book is too self-aware of the things that it's trying to evoke, if that makes sense, but it is also, it's a give and a take situation, I guess. Aside from that, I'm about to drive to LA to go to an event with Michelle Zauner, who is the author of Crying in H Mart, and she's also the lead singer of Japanese Breakfast, which is one of my favorite indie bands. Crying in H Mart, I read it last week because I signed up for this event and I was like, you know, might as well read it because I've had the book for a long time now. And Crying in H Mart was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Or enjoyed is a weird word to use for a memoir about someone grieving the death of their mother, but throughout the novel she uses Korean food as a sort of way of connecting with her mother and her Korean heritage, and so it was definitely a very interesting memoir. And I generally don't read celebrity memoirs, so it was a cool divergence from my usual fantasy books. But you know how it goes, and I'm also going to be meeting up with one of my online friends, so yeah, talk to you later.
Didn't like many people, and so and she made that very clear.